down for both of us. Much love, brother. But thank you for being here on Keep 'em Talking podcast in the Community Hour.
It's a pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to this dialogue. I know the good folks down in Louisiana have been waiting for something like this to happen since the January 6th. Well, they say everything happens, goes in a circle. And when it looks like people just don't want to change, sometimes we have to stand up again to let them know we still here. So it's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here with all of your listeners. And I'm looking forward to a very constructive dialogue with the good folks down in Louisiana.
All right. So look, you say Louisiana like you love coming here, brother. Like the times that you have come here have been memorable.
I don't want to talk too loud, say too much. Don't want to incriminate myself, but I will tell you I spent a little bit of time on Annunciation Street in New Orleans, not New Orleans, New Orleans. I got some friends down there before Katrina came through and moved everybody to Houston. But yes, my history is long in the Lou, from Shreveport all the way down to Lake Charles. As a matter of fact, when I ran for the presidency back in 2016, my running mate was a gentleman from Lake Charles by the name of Verone Thomas. The same way you already know we were on the ticket. He did bring me down and showed me some Lake Charles hospitality. He took me around and showed me a couple things. So I have a special love for the Lou, but that's why I'm here tonight, because I thought that I wouldn't have to bring this type of attention to Louisiana. But apparently, because of some circumstances beyond our control, it looks like that's what's going to happen. And I came here tonight for you and I to talk about facts, and people could put their feelings in the parking lot. Pleasure to be with you.
Absolutely. Let's go straight there, Grandmaster, because, of course, I have been fortunate to follow you for a number of years, and I have seen some of the work that you have done most recently since your presidential run. And you mentioned facts, and I'm a fact type of guy. I'm all about truth and facts. And they have people who misrepresent what NFAC really is. So let's get facts out about NFAC. Tell us from your mouth, from the founder, who and what is NFAC?
NFAC is the response to the deteriorating racial environment within the United States, which constitutes human rights violations against people of African-American descent, or those of us of deep melanated persuasion, at the hands of the police and some citizens from a racial perspective. We are a black militia created by black citizens. Some of us veterans, some of us just regular tax-paying citizens who have exercised our constitutional right to bear arms and peacefully assemble to express our grievances to the government for redress and the adjustment of those policies, systems, and institutions that we continuously find ourselves victimized almost 60 years later since the Civil Rights Act was passed back in 1964. We are an organization with three tenet missions. One, to protect the black community, to self-police the black community, and to educate the black community on their rights and responsibilities as responsible gun owners, and their right under the Constitution to form an organized militia to address grievances to the government. That is the core of what created the NFAC. That has been our mission, though our approach has been different for different situations. All of the misinformation and all of these stereotypes that have been brainwashed into us as a people, that when you see black people with guns, there must be something negative going on. But this country was built on people arming themselves for whatever reason. That's why we had the Civil War. That's why we used to have militias that used to back up political parties. Most people don't realize that when the Democrats lost, remember this was the Democrats that lost in Wilmington, South Carolina, they formed a militia called the Red Shirts, and they went in and actually overthrew the government, burnt down the joint, and took power, and nobody pushed them back. The only difference was the people they pushed out was black, and the people who pushed in was white. But it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
Rabbit got the gun. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So what do you say to those who say, oh, this is a hate group. Oh, this is a bunch of thugs. You have already said, some of you guys are veterans. Some of you are Ivy League educated. some of you all are still in a professional capacity and some are retired. But thugs you are not. Militia you are, and organized, disciplined, and prepared is not to be questioned.
Absolutely. And let me go ahead and add to that. The President of the United States thought it not robbery to call us thugs on a plane when we were flying up to the historic March on Washington, where we took no weapons. We went to stand in solidarity with everybody else who was out there on that historic day. I didn't see us being thugs at the time. Matter of fact, I didn't think thugs could get through the TSA. And if so, that's a sad indictment on the TSA. And then on top of that, we was thugging on the plane. I don't know how you thug on a plane without them putting the plane down and you going out in handcuffs. I've seen, so I don't know where we became thugs. At the other time, it's also a hate group. The Southern Poverty Law Center has not classified nor labeled the NFAC as a hate group, has not labeled us as a terrorist group. As a matter of fact, the Southern Poverty Law Center has simply called us the 4th largest militia in the United States and the only international black militia around the world. So I don't know where the hate comes from. We haven't said we hate anyone. We said we love black folks. We didn't say that we were out to terrorize anyone. We're here to counter the terrorism against black folks. We didn't say anything that we were thugging. We have not a record of destroying anything. We have not had one member arrested. We haven't destroyed one piece of property. We don't chant, we don't sing, we don't throw. As a matter of fact, we are an organism of the people to redress grievances for the people. So only those of us who are not of the people or not by the people will be opposed to the existence, because until we came into existence, there was no such thing as the white militia. It was just the militia. But as soon as brothers armed themselves, as soon as brothers stepped to the post, all of a sudden the media had to step out and say white militia, black militia, as if we are opposed. What's really interesting to me, and I'm so glad you brought it up, I wasn't going to say nothing, but since you decided to stop right there, we're on a horse right now, my brother. Let me tell you, I see you laughing, but you know it's true, as red as the tie on your neck. Let me tell you, it's interesting that every time they talk about us, they talk about us as if we're the adversary. This is not Game of Thrones. This is not a video game. This is not you bring yours and you bring mine. We are the exact same thing that J. Edgar Hoover said was his worst nightmare, and that's black unity walking. We are his worst nightmare when he said that sooner or later, a charismatic black male would come along and energize the black nationalist movement. America is watching that happen. The world is watching it happen. And you know what? What's good for the black man is good for everybody. As long as we doing all right, y'all gonna do all right. So anybody that wants to classify us as thugs, terrorists, a hate group, I say, show me the proof. Who have we hated on? Who have we thugged on? Who have we terrorized? All we've done is exercise our constitutional rights within the scope of the law without degenerating into violence, without degenerating into animalistic behavior. We are the epitome of the backbone of the black community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like you said, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
All day.
I want to move to Lafayette. So you come into Lafayette, and I didn't know whether I wanted to go here first or go there first. So I'm going here first, brother. What is the objective of coming to Lafayette? Without getting too far in advance, for those people who are in support, who are looking forward, who are inspired by the fact that such an organization is going to visit Lafayette, can you share with us, without revealing anything that is inappropriate or that should not be said at this time, what is the objective of NFAC coming to Lafayette?
The objective of the NFAC visiting the wonderful state of Louisiana is to support and stand in solidarity with all the brothers and sisters that live there, who live under systems where they feel like they don't have a big brother. They don't have someone that can stand toe to toe and look these services and these committees and these offices and these institutions in the eye and say, not only are we just as intelligent, if not more, not only are we just as stylish and fortitude of how we're going to approach you, but we're prepared to back up anything we say. We come to stand with these people because it looks like y'all got a couple issues on the table that have risen to the national spotlight. Once you make it to the national spotlight, it is our responsibility to pull up, see what's happening, get with the people and get to the heart of the matter and the truth. And if it's something that we can fix internally, we fix it. But if it's something that's being done to us, we're here to say it's enough of that. And the people down there that have been begging, requesting, saying, we need somebody from the outside to come in so they can understand that our family is much bigger than the state of Louisiana. That's our family down there. You're my brother. Those are our sisters. Those are our children. And because we have inspired so many people globally that it's time for you to man up, stand up, band up for your people, we go everywhere that our people need that. They need that push. They need to see that example. I've got people in their 90s that call me and say, you know, I thought I would leave this earth before I ever saw black people stand up again. And you have given me comfort. I can go on to glory now, knowing y'all gonna be all right. Because it's got to start somewhere. It starts with us. That's why we come into Louisiana, because you've had some incidents with the Ronald Green situation, with the Pellerin shooting. And it goes on and on and on. I don't even have to dig into the dirty laundry. But if you peel back the layers, you know where I'm going. The dirty clothes might be on top, but the stinky ones is in the bottom. The deeper you dig, the stinkier it gets. We there to peel back to the bottom. We want to see what's underneath, not the bottom of the barrel, but the crud under the barrel. You got some of that going on, and we coming down to stand with the people and let them know, because apparently the powers to be still don't believe in 2020 that we have moved any further than 1965.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think what we refer to that as is you got reach. So you're coming to Louisiana.
Oh.
You got reach.
Not only do, let me say this, not only do we have reach, it is also confirmation that some things have not changed at all.
At all. At all.
And we'll unpack that later on. I'm going to keep the good stuff for you in the car. I'm going to give you your vegetables first. You get your dessert later.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit more about what's bringing you here, but you brought something up about elders. You brought something up about the black community, brothers and sisters. But I've been noticing that you seemingly, and if I'm wrong, correct me, you seem to have been reaching out to children a lot, showing much love to the children, showing the children how to be prideful, how to be confident in their way. And lately, it seems as though you've been making it a point to embrace young folks so that they don't take on the mindset for 30 years before they get it together. What's up with that?
I think that what you're referring to, and this was some kind of a surprise to me. When we started this thing, it was all about Ahmaud Arbery and what happened to him that reminded people like me and you of things we thought had gone away. But one of the side effects of the imagery that mainstream media stays away from, of organized, armed, black people addressing a threat, is something that even if I was a child, if I saw that it would stick with me and inspire me for the rest of my life. When we begin to hear the feedback from black women who are single parents, when we started to hear the feedback from single fathers who didn't have a mother in the home, that their children were actually finding interest in the show that I do, Facts Over Feelings, and the morning mental that I do, which is really steak and eggs, not milk and cereal. It's that type of teaching. Some people can't eat that, but the children started eating it. And all of a sudden, people started sending me pictures of their children who they couldn't tear away from the video game, who they couldn't get to read a book, parked in front of the flat screen, watching Facts Over Feelings, watching the morning mental, and studying everything about the NFAC. They outside playing NFAC now. They dressing up like us. Because what's happened is we begin to realize these children today don't have anything that they can really grab onto that raises their racial esteem. Not their self-esteem, their racial esteem. Something they can feel proud of. Something they can look another child of another race in the face. Well, at least we got this. And I feel good about that. So when the children really started coming on to me, when I started going out to places and I got 4-year-olds begging their mama, please, if you don't take me over to them, I'm going to fall out and roll out and just carry on. When I got teenagers that are calling me up saying, listen, I follow everything you do. I can't wait to to be 21 so I could get out there and stand with my people, it began to resonate with me that the true way that we establish our legacy, because this struggle is not going to end with my generation, but it has to start somewhere, that we start planting the seed that will grow up to become the next, as we say. People always like to think that the sight of Barack Obama ascending to the presidency told any black male, you could be president. I know, because I ran for the presidency. But the sight of black people not being, as you said, thugs and criminals when it comes to guns and standing their position, not being hit over the head, gassed and tear gassed and arrested. No, but presenting this image of strong, educated, law-abiding black people prepared to defend themselves. Of course it resonates with the children, because now it makes them want to go out and study Malcolm, study Medgar, study Bobby Seale, study the Panthers, study the civil rights movement for really was. And then most importantly, it also galvanizes them to study all the past they don't teach them. The stuff that you don't learn in school. Because we start getting them molded. Now, all of a sudden, I got children calling me up saying, I want to talk to you about Black Wall Street. Can you talk to me a little bit about Rosewood? What really happened when they had the massacre in Wilmington? What's this Black Codes thing I'm hearing all about? You talk about Jim Crow. Did you know them? They come at me with this now because they see a bridge. You understand what I'm saying? So it is, and I never, ever deny a child the opportunity to get FaceTime with me, because they'll remember it for the rest of their life. And if I can make one of them get on this path, I've done my job. But it appears that I've got hundreds of thousands.
You do. And I could tell you that although I haven't been charged to speak for many, I take it a privilege to do so. And I call right, and I call wrong. And I could tell you that what I have seen that you have done with the children is of one of the greatest values that I have seen of anything you've done. So before we leave here tonight, for those people who are hearing you and seeing you for the first time, I certainly want you to invite them over to the areas where they could see that type of engagement and get this type of knowledge on a regular, where they don't have to wait for the next time you come to keep them talking, because you're going to come back to keep them talking. But they could go see you without me from time to time.
You know, it's ironic you said that, because the night before they announced the grand jury decision in the case that we were heavily involved in, Breonna Taylor, which has still got revelations coming out that I talked about 3 months ago. The night before that came out, the social media platform saw fit to turn off all of my social media platform. Hundreds of thousands of followers were denied any type of communication with me, because they know I was going to bring it the next day. And see, when you're a walking nightmare, they got to do their best to keep either you asleep or the people asleep. So what they didn't know was I play chess, not checkers. So every move they make, I already got another move to they counter move with the move after that to get you closer to checkmate. So when they did that, little did they know I had a backup. Just like you better have a backup. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So you can find me right now. And if you're on Instagram, social media savvy people, you can go on Instagram. You can go to official NFAC. You'll find me right there talking the same old. The day shut down over there. And a lot of them people done came over there, because you can't stop the truth from getting out. If that's if you want to check out Facts Over Feelings or the Morning Mental, and I'll let everybody know. They talk a lot about the militant side. They talk a lot about what we're doing as a militia. Oh, they want to know about the guns, and they want to know, but they ignore the teaching side. You see, when I'm not out running around dressed like Rambo, I'm sitting rightly dividing the words from our ancestors to teach to my own people, who have become very faithful students and educated followers. So if you come over there thinking we're talking about bang, bang, shoot them up, you might mess up and get a breakthrough. You might mess up and learn something about your people. So I teach on the regular. But a lot of those people really have a hard time watching a educated, focused teacher suddenly turn into Shaka Zulu, suddenly turn into Hannibal when someone has aggressed his race of people. But that's where you can find me. I'm banned from Facebook, Facebook got rid of me when they got rid of all of the pro-black speakers. So you can't find me on the book nowhere. And on top of that, I have a limited access to Twitter. See how they censor the black man, but they let the white man say whatever he so pleases as long as he says, I'm sorry. Sorry don't cut it for us. You see, I told y'all we got to stop playing the victim. We want to issue some apologies. We want to go do some retraining. We want to tell you we'll do better. But right now, we in the victim mode because everybody's always apologizing to us and telling us they're going to do better. So you can only catch me. Oh, I'm sorry. And also on my YouTube channel. That's it. All right.
Yeah. And from time to time, we'll make sure that the partners throughout this country keep you out front, especially when it comes to these children. But
let me add this to you, my friend. It's interesting. Mainstream media around the world does a fantastic job covering NFAC, myself, and everything we're doing. Mainstream media in the United States are afraid to talk about us. They try and they don't know because we don't fit the narrative. But I'm going to put an indictment out right now, but what is pathetic is black media, which I know has white handlers, are afraid to touch the NFAC. Yep. Not one time have we been invited on any of these black platforms with these huge audiences. Oh, they'll talk about us, but they won't talk to us. They'll tell you what they think, but they won't come talk to us. When I went to the funeral last week in Atlanta for Hassim Mazinga, who was the chairman of the Black Panther Party, just to pay my respects, it was amazing to me, all the foreign media that showed up with microphones, but not anybody from ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, or any other mayonnaise channels showed up to try to get the truth of why black people are armed and organized and protecting their own.
Right. And, you know, and that's our objective here tonight. And I told people as I was preparing for the show, on my Sunday show, I told them we are going to talk to the NFAC. We are not going to talk about the NFAC. And that makes a critical difference. Now, you just brought up a word that has kind of, I'm going to say triggered, since we are an organization that legally and appropriately do carry firearms and do support the Second Amendment. There's a congressman from Louisiana who and again, I'm in the fact business. When I say something wrong, I expect people to say, nah, Kenneth, that ain't quite right.
Right.
But as I appreciate it, the NFAC, Grandmaster Jay has been busy and somewhat occupied throughout the world, but in particular throughout the country. You mentioned Brianna, you mentioned Atlanta, you know, the list goes on. And in Lafayette, Louisiana, wasn't really on the radar. There was some talk going on out here. There were people saying things and sharing rumors in speaking outside of their authority on your behalf or the agency's behalf. But it spiked something in a congressman, and he said some threatening words. And as I appreciated, it was that. Maybe a few other things, but it was that said, whoa, did he just threaten me? Did he just try to tell me what I cannot do? My question to you is, have you had any communication with Congressman Higgins? I know that you requested a formal apology for what he said against you and your organization. And tell us a little bit about what that did to you and in you when you received those words, and then your view of Lafayette, Louisiana at that point.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you set that up. I'm going to go ahead and knock it down. You know, when the senator, congressman, whatever he wants to, he's pretending to be, decided to issue this threat, it blindsided us. We had no focus on Lafayette. Our focus was on Louisville and the Breonna Taylor case that we had been talking about for months. And at the time that you all had the shootings down in Lafayette that garnered national attention again, I had actually relinquished the platform to other people, you know how we are, who said they could do it better and that they didn't need the NFAC and they didn't need me. You know how my folks was. No, it's got to be something wrong. Y'all crooked. Y'all funded by somebody. I smell an agent. This is what we said. So what I said on that particular weekend was, I tell you what, we going to fall back so y'all can do better. Nobody stepped up. It was so quiet you could have heard a fly piss on cotton. That's how quiet it was. No cricket. So what happened was when we came out of the Louisville situation after the Derby, we still saw that Lafayette was still dealing with the Pellerin situation. But then out of the blue, I mean completely out of the blue, totally blindsided me, I started getting phone calls. And people said, why is this congressman threatening you? I said, no congressman is threatening me. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not even in conflict with a congressman. What are you talking about? And they sent over the words. And when I read those words, I read them 4 times. I read them because I couldn't believe a sitting congressman said that he would kill 10 of us before he put his beard down. And that my mama would be crying. I want you to know my mama called me and she said, baby, they said they're going to make me cry. You know what you got to go do. I said, mama, don't worry about it. I sound like LL Cool J. Mama said, knock you out. So what I did was I put the phone down and I called all my people and I said, who is this man? And why is he threatening me? I have done nothing to him except be a descendant of slaves. And then I found out that he was actually threatening me because he thought I was somebody else. He thought I was a gentleman out of Houston who had no affiliation with us. He was amping things up. He was saying things we never would say. And now the congressman, instead of doing his research, responded as if I was some thug, as you say, as if I was a hater, if I was a terrorist, because that's how you talk to them. And when this came out, of course, because I ran for the presidency, I didn't see it as an indictment on Lafayette. I saw it as an indictment on the U.S. Congress. So I reached out to my folks in Washington. I wanted to know how the Speaker of the House felt about it. I wanted to know how the Senate Majority Leader, whose state I was already in, making a whole lot of noise, what was you going to say about it? Matter of fact, was anybody in the House of Representatives or in the Congressman going to say something? Cedric Richmond spoke up and said something, and he's a black brother on the all-white team who said, now hold on a minute. You done lost your mind. That man ain't said nothing to you. You going to threaten citizens? Well, let me enlighten your listeners. Because you know, once you become the focus of me, I focus on nothing else. A Lafayette man was sentenced to 30 months in prison for making threats to the Lafayette office of U.S. Representative Clay Higgins. A man by the name of Sohail Rana, who was 50 years old from Lafayette, Louisiana, was sentenced by U.S. District Judge D.D. Drell, who ordered him to serve 2 years of supervised release following his sentence. When I got the case from my people, I couldn't believe it. This man was put 60 months in federal prison because he called down to Higgins' office and he threatened him, told him he was going to kill him, told him he was upset, told him he was going to drop him where he stood. I'm sorry, but it sounded like the congressman just did what he put somebody in prison for doing. So you can imagine my joy and elation when Miss Broussard from the NAACP went on down to the local police department, filed charges against the good congressman for inciting terroristic, making terroristic threats and inciting a riot. I don't know what happened with that, but I know what didn't happen. I didn't see him speak publicly to try to clean it up. I didn't see anyone in the administration step forward. As a matter of fact, I didn't hear or see nothing. When you do that, it makes me think that you don't care. It makes me think that you got away. So at that point, I had to call my commanders together and say, on top of everything else that's going on down in Lafayette, the congressman is out of his mind. The congressman thinks that I can hear the harmonicas playing right now. I can see the jambalaya cooking in the pot, but I'm not from there, and you don't talk to me like that and think for 2 seconds, Congressman, that I don't want your position. But I tell you what you will do if you want to keep that position, or I will make you the center of nightly news for the next 6 months. I got nothing better else to focus on. You're going to apologize to me, and you're going to apologize to my organization. If you choose not to do it, then we will come to your town and make it so uncomfortable for your constituents. They're going to beg you to apologize to me. Now, I say all of that to answer your next question. So we got in touch with some people that got his ear. And we said, what's up with your boy? You need to go talk to him. I ain't heard from him yet. I gave the same speech that I gave to get Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General of Kentucky, on the phone. You need to go talk to your boy. He need to come talk to me. He ain't got to talk to nobody else. Just come talk to me. And then if me and him can reach an understanding, I will tell him what the terms of surrender are. You've embarrassed me publicly. You threatened my group publicly. You're going to apologize to us publicly. Now, I don't care how you spin it. I don't care whether you want a photo op, so we all grinning and cheesing. But at the end of the day, if you're so afraid to come talk to me, you never should have threatened me, because we're the pull-up masters, as they say in the community. So I reached out, and here's what I got back. According to his homeboy, Carlos. Carlos, I know you're watching. Carlos said that he didn't know it was you. Somebody had to sit him down and say, let me show you who you're talking about. You ain't talking about the big dude from Houston. You're talking about this brother right here. When he saw who it was, according to Carlos, he said, no, hold on a minute. I rock with this guy. I support what he does. Hell, I'm a fan when you should have checked who you was talking about, because you used my picture. You stuck my peoples up there. How you didn't know? Right. I can't really buy that, but if that's your excuse so you can get back to sunshine, I'll work with that. So I told him, and then he said he wouldn't mind having a personal conversation with me. I don't want a personal conversation. I want a public conversation, because you didn't insult me or threaten me privately. You did it publicly. You did it on Facebook. So guess what, Congressman? I told you, I'm coming to your area like you said I couldn't. I'm not breaking no laws. I'm just exercising my constitutional rights. You said the people of Louisiana. Last time I checked, you don't represent all of the people of Louisiana, because most of the people that I've talked to was like, you need to come down here because he done lost his mind. You see, we need to understand what he's talking about, because he owes not only an apology to me, but to all citizens that he took the oath to support the Constitution, because what you just said is you support white militias. You will host events for them, but you see the black militia come into town to stand with black people peacefully, and you want to say that you're going to threaten to kill us. So I haven't talked directly to him yet, because I put a stipulation that before I talk to you in private, we got to talk publicly.
So until then, you are not accepting anything privately for him. The offense came publicly, therefore the recovery shall be public.
It should be. The reason being is because I can talk to you behind closed doors all day, and we can be boys and hug and do all of that. But what we do out on the world stage is what the world will respond to, because perception is reality. And there are those people who sat there and they read the threat. And now they see, oh, they went down there and the boy never apologized. You mean to tell me he put somebody in prison for what they did to him, and he didn't even have to apologize? Some people said don't even get an apology. Get him kicked out of office. You see, we're in an election year. And if y'all want to expose people and move them on out the way, same thing I said in Louisville, you can't change the environment unless you change the lawmakers. Then you can change the law. And in this particular instance, here's an excellent opportunity for the people of Louisiana to see that this person that y'all gonna let slide in and represent y'all, well, obviously, they're the thug. They're the hater. They're the terrorists. And y'all need to vote them out. The only way that they're going to get any type of amends from the black vote is you come see the black militia. You come see the black militia leader and you say, I was wrong. I made a mistake. I support your constitutional right to assemble and bear arms, and it's all good in the hood. Now, you go on about your way and let me feel good with my people. Anything short of that is not only an indictment on the current administration, but it also makes a mockery out of the positions that they hold and the oath that they take for the Constitution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know we started a little late. We got you on a little late. We're approaching our time limit, but one of the things I wanted to give you the opportunity to do, Grandmaster Jay, is speak to the people. Your organization is a member organization. You all are licensed to conceal carry. That, in other words, that there are some stipulations and some restrictions and some things that have to happen. You don't just walk up, dress all in black, and walk up and say you part of NFAC. I'm just going to keep it real, okay? Because I know that there is the fanfare, that there is the excitement and the energy when you arrive. And I just want our community to be prepared. And maybe you could just set up for them, look, that there's a way for anyone to become a part of it, but that way must be done. And when you arrive, what are some things that maybe you want to share with the local community to say, look, you just can't walk up here with a gun in your hand and say, look, I'm excited and I'm feeling it and I want to be here. What must happen?
I'm glad you brought that up. The first thing that I would say to the public is you have to realize we are not a gang. This is not a social club. This is not a park picnic. This is not family reunion. What this is a structured, organized militia. All of us that are in this militia have been screened. All of us are law-abiding and able to carry weapons. Most of us have carried conceals. The majority of us are ex-military, so we understand command and structure. We don't run on emotions. We run on facts and operations. We have a purpose and a mission. We are not there to antagonize anyone, so we don't support that. And anyone who attempts to approach us emotionally or who's not informed of the law, you are considered an adversary to us. You are considered a threat. We would, just like in the military, we say we would defend ourselves against all enemies, foreign and domestic, but we are in a defense posture at all times. We're not there to loot, maim, rob, and burn the joint down because that's what you're in the mood for. You cannot approach us and say, I'm down. No, there is no down. We have rules, regulations, command structure, commanders who know their soldiers inside of the NFAC. When we come to the city, our intent is to do what we've done in every other city. We will form up and we will move to a position where we can address the grievances and give those people that have been selected by the community a chance to speak without fear of retribution. At that particular juncture, all of the groups that want to protest and so forth, they're being welcomed also, but they cannot be a part of this actual formation, following behind it, whatever you want to do. The other thing is anyone who attempts to come out to this particular event and think that you're going to initiate an act of violence, you will find out it will backfire on you very quickly. You see, the thing that we do, and I'm glad you brought this up, you cannot walk into any city or state and call yourself a militia and just show up. It does not work that way. You have to always give the municipality, the leadership. You don't have to ask their permission. You have to give them a notification. We're coming. You need to prepare for us. You need to ensure safety for your people and safety for us. You need to ensure that anarchy does not reign. In other words, don't worry about us. Worry about your people. So we sit down and we don't talk to middlemen. I'm glad you brought this up. We talk to the head cheese in charge. I've had a meeting with the mayor of Lafayette. I've had a meeting, and in that meeting, he brought the police chief. He brought the sheriff. He brought a whole lot of cronies to the table. In return, we brought the NAACP, the ACLU, all the activist representatives. We brought in a group of folks ourselves, and it was all gravy in the Navy. They were rolling out the red carpet, which is what we enjoy. We like when they recognize power recognizes power. So you're going to treat us like visiting dignitaries in your city. But Lafayette has become the first place where we've run into so much resistance after we were told everything was good in the hood. You see, it's just like what they did with the Native Americans. They showed up and said, we here just to colonize and work with you. And after the Native Americans showed them all the secrets and told them how to grow the food and showed them how to survive, they took that plan back and they figured out ways to corrupt it and to work around it so they could take from them. Well, let me share with you, in the last 48 hours, I'm going to be very transparent for the people.
Right.
You best believe they've tried everything to make us give up and quit. First, they told us we couldn't go where we wanted to go because it was in a gun-free zone, but we checked the map and we wasn't near the gun-free zone. Then they came back and told us that, well, you can't come in here unless you give us the names of everybody that's in the NFAC and the serial numbers of all their weapons. Immediately, you got to remember, we're not stupid. Immediately, I had to turn around and say, I checked out federal law. I checked out Louisiana state law. I even looked up section 78.2, foot traces and parades for the city of Lafayette. And nowhere in any of those laws did it say that that information was required. As a matter of fact, I even checked with the Supreme Court and found out that there was case precedent, Bates versus Little Rock, where they tried to get the names, addresses, and phone numbers of every member of the NAACP that was going to come down, and they forbid them to do that. And even furthermore, the Firearms Act prohibits you from collecting serial numbers and creating a registry of citizens. Once I told all that to the powers to be. I said, you do realize that you're looking at a 14th Amendment violation by what you're doing. You're going to end up on the news and in the Supreme Court messing around with us. We are not your regular brand of Negroes. We, a matter of fact, we are not regular strength black folks. We extra strength. And since the mayor is a lawyer and the sheriff is a lawyer, see, you didn't think you was dealing with a brother that's versed in law also. You won't play those games on us. So today I'm happy to report that the mayor called me directly because I don't want to hear from no middlemen. And he says, you know, after listening to all you had to say, brother, after considering what you pointed out, we don't want to impede nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop that requirement, which was unconstitutional, and we're going to move forward. Now, we've won the battle, but does it make me think we've won the war? I don't know. I'm pretty sure tomorrow it's going to be because it's Thursday at 3 o'clock. You can't do this. Or when the sky turns green, that means you can then do it. Because that's the nature of those people who still can't get over the fact that we are equals. We are not property. We're not secondhand. We're not threat. Look, we don't want no help from you. We got this. We ain't asked y'all to be allies. We simply follow the law. You know, the law that you use to get out of stuff. Well, we're using the law to get into stuff. So now you're going to roll out that red carpet for us. And now they're doing it right now. But I'm just letting you know, Lafayette is the first place that has ever tried to come back against us. But it's okay. Because we know where we're coming to. And for the people down there, they're not going to stop us because we told them we come in one way or the other. How we come is up to you. Yes. I encourage everybody to come out and witness history. I encourage every citizen of Louisiana. I'm talking about from Shreveport to Baton Rouge to New Orleans to St. Charles, everywhere. The people over from Houston, y'all ain't doing nothing. Get on down here. Biloxi, I know y'all got your eye on it. Get on down here. Everybody, it need to be so many people in Lafayette that the town can't hold this sea of melanin that's coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I talked to some of my colleagues and some of my friends, some of my neighbors, some folks in the community. And this isn't what you want. This isn't what you deserve and what you should ultimately get. But at the end of the day, the offense came from a Louisiana person in a public office.
Correct.
And because of the way you stand up for the things you stand up for, on behalf of reasonable people, on behalf of logical people, we are sorry for what you in the NFAC as an organization has experienced and was said to you by a congressman from Louisiana. You already know, and Cedric set the tone. You saw what Cedric did in Washington. This is not who we are. And this is not an individual who represents everybody. He has identified and locked into a pocket of people, and that's some work that we have to do as it relates to elections and voter apathy and other things. We got to work on ourselves sometimes. And that's what I love about the things that you say. You about holding folks accountable, but you don't give passes to your own. It's about building up and giving strength and teaching and educating, as you said earlier. So on behalf of Louisianians who are in their right mind, we apologize to what has come to you.
Let me say this to you, brother. Let me say this to you. First of all, thank you. But my brothers and sisters in Louisiana, you don't owe me an apology. You down there dealing with too much as it is. You don't need an apology. You need an apology from me for not realizing how bad it was. Because the more I've been on the phone talking to people all week. Matter of fact, I feel like I'm campaigning again. I'm talking to people from one end of the state to the other. And everyone has told me some way, shape, form, or fashion of the situation. You don't owe me an apology. The senator owes me an apology. That's where my apology comes from. What I will say is this. I want each and every person to come out and now don't tell me, show me. Come out there and support us. You don't have to apologize by words. Because I know y'all down there. I know how many folks it is that feel this way. So I would encourage you all to come out, exercise your constitutional rights along with us, and let it be a day of power for us. I understand the group that he's a part of, because that group is the ones that tried to stop us. But right now, we're in a place where we're in a winning position. So you all don't owe me an apology. Come out and show me. Come out and show, in fact, that love, that unity, that this is not who Louisiana is, that what they saying about you is not true. And I'm speaking to melanated people. I can't talk for the rest of them. They got enough people talking for them. I'm talking to my people. Just like you said, I hold my own people accountable. Because, like Malcolm said, we cannot learn to love another people until first we learn to love ourselves. That's why it's not racist that we're all black. We got to do this ourselves. You know why? We got to learn to work together and stop blaming other people for our problems. If this works out, we take all the credit. If it fails, we got nobody to blame but ourselves. It is a blueprint and a lesson, not just for those of us who are in the NFAC, but those people around the country that can see, you mean we can get together and get some stuff done? You know we can. The same way you stand on your square.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to stand on mine.
Absolutely. Can we take this moment to invite people for a time? We know October 3rd is the day, okay? We don't know the place. We don't know the time. And many people have been calling me. They say, Kenneth, where do we go? Where will we be? Yeah. Where can we be and not be in conflict with NFAC that we could go and support? Can you give us a time and a place where assembly should be, or where people can appreciate and be able to view the history that will be made upon arrival?
Absolutely. Inside of Lafayette, there is a place called factz. It's actually located on 201 East Vermilion Street in Lafayette, Louisiana. If you want to Google that, it's called factz. It is a big outdoors park where they hold all their big summer festivals, where they get together to play their violins and banjos. Ain't gonna be none of that on that day. On that day, that entire area, as a matter of fact, will be dedicated completely to the public to come out and witness the arrival of the NFAC, to hear what we have to say, to hear what I have to say, to get some FaceTime with us, and also to hear from some other individuals in the community that this is our time, not just to stand together with the folks right there in Lafayette, not just the folks in Louisiana, but your brothers and sisters from all over the country. But this is going to play factz, 4 o'clock. 4 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. If you want to witness history, you're there at factz at 4 o'clock. That's when we're going to be pulling up. And when we pull up, we'll take it from there. Now, anything other than that, any other details that with regards to where the NFAC is going to be, that is guarded and is only being released to NFAC members. But as far as the public, that's where you are going to come. And from what we've been able to, trust me, we do our homework. We study the whole city. We looked at every park place. We looked at where everything was. We studied the zoning laws, and we looked at where the high crime areas are. We looked at where the hood is. And then we looked at where they hide out at. And then we decided we want to be with our peoples. We don't want to be somewhere. We have no reason to go to the governor's house. The governor don't know us. Our peoples can come see us. That's what we come in to see. You see, this is a day of solidarity, not to holler at the white man. This is a day for us to meet in factz at 4 o'clock on October the 3rd so that we can holler with our people so the white man can see that we can get on one accord. And anybody who comes out there with anything that's adverse to that, well, you got to deal with the tribe. That's all I got to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you've heard it right here on Kenneth Boutro Keep From Talking podcast in the Community Hour from the man himself, the official Grandmaster J, leader and founder of NFAC, the world militia, the fourth largest militia in the world. And we just cannot say thank you enough for being here with us. We appreciate your invitation. We look forward to your arrival on Saturday. I always like to tell people, I'm a former elected official, by the way. Don't hold it against me. But we got to have good folks running for office, right? We got to have internal and external. I think I was one of the good guys, but I'm sure you done heard a lot of that already. You know, don't mess with Kenneth or Kenneth, all right. But let me say this. As a former official and someone who truly acts on behalf of the people, we look forward to welcoming you to our town. We look forward to receiving you. I've received many calls from blacks and whites, men and women, adults and children. Everybody want to know what is going on, who is this, where is this. And, you know, for a while I said Google it, but then they had the letters mixed up, and so I just had to put it out there. I said, let me get you here, and they could hear it from the man himself.
Well, you asked, and I am here like the in-law that won't leave. And now that I have pulled up, I'm going to hang out with y'all for a little while. I'm going to hang some pictures on the wall, going to get comfortable. I know I'm going to get some good hospitality. All my people are going to be treated well. We do understand that there are some people that may want some FaceTime. You know, you can see I try to do my best. But because of the fact that there are some people not too happy about us coming on down, you know, I will say to y'all, it's going to be a good time, but let us all stay alert. Let us all be safe. Let us all remember that this is a day of solidarity and peace. But that, remember, it's one thing you don't want to do. You never want to slap the hornet's nest when all the hornets are at home. Leave them be to enjoy themselves. I am looking forward to coming down and being with all of you all. And at the same time, I'm also very honored that the state is having the response that I'm hearing from old and young. And all of the dignitaries that want to come out, including Congressman Richmond, and a few other dignitaries that have said that they thought it not robbery to come out there and be a part of this. I hope to spend some time with you, some FaceTime, so we can sit down, and then I can give you the red tie that they gave me for Christmas, because I got one too. So we know that that's the standard gift. Kenneth. No, don't break out the black stuff just yet. Save all that for Saturday. Save that. But what I will say to the people is this. If you want to come out and support us, and you still want to be on one accord with us, that's fine. If you're going to bring your weapons, and it is an open carry state, I can't tell people who can carry and who cannot. Just remember, safety first, no emotions, because we're not a part of that. And if you act up, you're going to be acting up by yourself. That's not how we roll, and that's not what we do. I want to thank everyone under the sound of my voice all across Louisiana. I want to give a big shout out to Verone Thomas and a few other folks that have been helping to put this together, Ms. Broussard of the NAACP, and of course yourself for giving us the platform here all across Louisiana for all the powers to be to understand. Don't believe everything that you've heard about the NFAC. Believe everything that you see when you come out to see us and see Black Power speak to power. And I thank you for tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Again, we want to give a shout out to Verone Thomas, our friend from Lake Charles. Thank you, Verone, for the work that you're doing and the liaison that you play here in Louisiana. Marjorie Broussard, local president of the NAACP, thank you for facilitating this activity and making sure that all the dots get connected and everything that needs to be done is done. And for all of you, all of the listeners, this is always about the people. With all due respect to Grandmaster Jay, I'm sure he would agree. It's not about him. It's not about me. It's about our people. That's all that really matters. But we want to send a special thank you. I need you all to know, I reached out to this gentleman, okay, before they shut down his Instagram. I reached out to this gentleman, and I observed an interview that he did with Roland Martin. And he thanked Roland for inviting him because no one was inviting him. Like you said, especially black media, okay? Black media is one thing if mainstream media, in media that whites are in control of, will say they distance, but it becomes a problem when we do not put out the truth. And I told people I'm a disseminator of information. I'm about putting the truth and the facts out there. I reached out to this gentleman. I sent him a message. He responded. We had some dialogue. They shut him down, and I was wondering what happened. Okay? Well, they shut him down, and then it picked back up. But nonetheless, he is here tonight, and I just cannot thank him enough for giving Louisiana the opportunity to hear directly from him. So now you don't have to listen to what other people have said. You don't have to listen to what other people have written. You don't have to listen to what other people have put together as a package of lies and mistruths. You heard it from the man himself, the official Grandmaster Jay, founder and supreme commander of NFAC, the NFAC. They will be here October 3rd, Park San-Sou, downtown Lafayette. Not uptown, not upper, not south, not east, not west. Downtown. A place. Now keep in mind, remember now, downtown for a person like me, growing up in Macomb, downtown, when people said downtown, they thought you were going to jail. That's why black folks was afraid of downtown. Now we're going to keep it real just for a second. When they say, "Oh, you going downtown," they thought you was in prison. And you have to shop downtown. You have to cross the railroad track. You have to cross the thruway. Okay, we going downtown, which is partially for us because we are citizens. We are law-abiding, tax-paying, legal citizens of the city and parish of Lafayette, the state of Louisiana, and the country of the United States.
That is right.
And we shall not be denied.
That's right.
And we got some support. If you heard it, the NFAC is simply coming to support the locals, to let everybody know that we don't stand alone. I can't put it any simpler than that. So I am appreciative to Grandmaster J. I thank Grandmaster J sincerely. And you should also. We need to show him some love, family. Don't forget to check out, help me out with this, Grandmaster. Is it Morning Moments?
It's the Morning Mental. It's the Morning Mental.
And I couldn't understand. I was writing this Morning Mental and factz over feelingz.
Factz over feelingz. Factz over feelingz is at 8:30 every 8:30. Normally we'd be getting into it now, but I told them they had to wait because, matter of fact, they're actually watching us do this right now. It's actually being watched by the same group. So you got another audience that's watching while we're doing this. But Factz over feelingz, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. For you guys, it'll be 7:30. You can catch it on Instagram, IG, and also on YouTube. And then the Morning Mental. 8 a.m. Unless something else happens, like I get a phone call that some evidence them popped up in the Breonna Taylor case that they hid from us, stuff like that. Other than that, we'll talk about that when I see you. But in the meantime, in between time, remember, all we're doing is shining a spotlight so the roaches can be exposed.
All right. Hello, and we know what happens when the lights come on.
That's right.
And the roaches see the light.
Yes, sir.
Grandmaster, thank you so much.
Kenneth, thank you for having me.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Be safe, and God blessings on to you.
God bless you too, and God bless the state of Louisiana. Shalom.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Family, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. Our time here is up. We appreciate you for being here with us tonight. I hope that this program was a benefit to you. I hope that the information that you received here tonight was helpful in preparation for October 3rd, 4 p.m., Park Stand 2, Lafayette, Louisiana, downtown. Like they say, be there or be square. We shining a light so the roaches could scatter right here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we are out. Thank you. Thank you very much.